Hey everyone, Oz here. Sorry for the late start to the stream, but we finally just got everything rolling on my end. I finished up my dinner, so that way we wouldn't be eating during stream this time. So, a little bit of a service announcement. As of today, 8/17/2025 at 4:12 p.m. my time, anyone who posts anything political in the comments on my channel will have their comments hidden permanently on this channel. I will no longer be replying to them. I will not be paying them any attention. For people who care, people who don't care, I am not a left-leaning person. I am not a communist. I am not some kind of Democrat leftist. I am a centrist. I do not like you if you are left-leaning and you decide to come on my channel and use it as a podium for a place to espouse your political ideas. So, now that you have heard this, let me make this very clear. If you are left-leaning and want to come and hang out on my channel without going and attempting to use my hobby and my personal space as your soapbox to preach your vainglorious opinion from, I welcome you wholeheartedly. Please come be part of the community. I would love to have you here, love to interact with you, love to make some unforgettable content and times together. However, it does not matter if you are left-leaning. It does not matter if you are right-leaning. I am in the middle. I do not care. I do not like both of you. I am here for the common good of everyone on the planet, and for right now, for the common good of the planet, I do not care about anything aside from going and creating my hobby, because this is what this channel is about. Me having fun, me enjoying myself. Do not use my place and my space as your own personal soapbox. Do we understand? If so, feel free to drop a like on the video. Haha. Either way, actually do feel free, if you enjoy the content upcoming, to drop a like. I would love to hear some feedback from you all. Now, I promise from today forward, there will be no discussion of politics on this channel. If it happens again, where I have to go and I have to bring it up, there will be some sort of repercussion. I don't know what it is. Maybe I take an entire month off of going and streaming and recording videos. So, let's be very clear. My content and my channel are mine, and it and I are out here to entertain the world. It does not matter what side of any spectrum you are on, be it political, be it the autism spectrum disorder, be it, I don't know, just you pick a spectrum, be it on the color spectrum even, I don't care. You know, be you deep sea blue or space range purple, I don't care. Live, love, enjoy your life, but do not come here and do not try to use my personal space as a soapbox for your beliefs. Thank you very, very much for obeying this very simple rule. And for those of you who are not a big fan of any kinds of political talk like this, I do apologize. I shall attempt to never bring this up again, because that is not what this channel is about. We are not here to talk politics. We are not here to talk about stuff like that. Will we talk about the uncomfortable topics of the world? Of course, because, well, there isn't much else for me to talk about during long live streams. You know, sometimes we have to talk about the uncomfortable things, like the fact that, you know, Roblox has gone and cost us the anonymity of the internet, and it all seems to be a giant coordinated push. I mean, goodness, the guy who's sponsoring the bill here in America to go and to bring that stuff in, apparently just dumped a bunch of stocks in Roblox. So, you know, weird shit is happening around the world, and there's a good chance we're going to talk about it on stream. If that is not your spice for the start of a stream, you know, it just kind of happens that way. Once you guys get in and we start talking, you know, we will definitely try to move away from current and world events, as those just seem to make everyone a little bit upsetty spaghetti. And it is not my intent or wish to ever go and upset people, you know. I'm here to entertain. I am here to be a clown on the internet. Do not take the opinions of clowns, because a clown in the castle is not a king. He is still a clown, and now your castle is a circus. Or something like that, you know, ancient philosophy, if you will. So, now that the King of Clowns has returned to his rightful throne, let us begin with some more Ostranauts. Now, already I can tell we are having a little bit of a problem with some of the prevalent bugs. Now, these only tend to pop up, this right here, this empty, when you go and you rename things in the game. Apparently, Ostranauts is not a big fan of that right now. Don't know why, don't care why. We will have the devs figure that out and fix it some point in the future. Because, you know, they're great at what they do, and they're working really hard to make this stuff, you know, viable. We're going to turn down some of the sound effects because I think they're just a little bit too loud and a little bit too ear-grating. We're going to turn on the in-game music for once. So now that all the goofing around and the public service announcements are done, let's check back in where we left off. Oh, we still owe a shit ton of money. Why did I think... Ah, yeah, that's right. We have a cargo pod up here still. I don't know. I guess apparently the game didn't save right or something. Or maybe I've loaded the wrong save. Who knows? Either way, we'll get this stuff fixed up. We're going to get it sold off. And we are going to clear that debt, because I am done. I am done with the $1 million of debt. You know, we have slaved very hard. We have sold a lot of crap off of the ship. And it is time to move forward with this game, you know. It's time for us to get going. It's time for us to start making a profit. We have suffered enough for our crimes. Let's see, that's a heater. Now, admittedly, I'm going to have a little bit of the snuffles here to start. Dinner tonight was very, very spicy. I got some of that Mike's Extra Hot Honey floating around the house because I absolutely love this stuff. And I did that with some chickpeas and some Cajun seasoning. And I just toasted that up on a pot on the stove with some lime juice real quick. It was pretty good, you know. Pretty delicious little bit of something for dinner. I don't know if it's to everyone's taste or if anyone else would like it, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. So we're gonna go, we're gonna speed through, just fix up the last of the cargo pods, get those sold off. I know we have enough crap on the ship to pay off the debt because we did it last night. And there's a chance the game just didn't save right. And that's fine. You know, these things happen. And then we're going to have to start dealing with Mr. Gross and Miss Pittman, our two noble crew members. We will have to see about redesigning parts of the ship so that way we have like an actual dormitory, an actual bedroom. At some point we're going to see about looking up the room guides online and see what they say we have to do to make certain rooms happen and viable. Because I actually do not know, and I am quite curious to see what would happen if we actually got this massive old ship properly roomed out. Because as it stands, you know, the ship is worth about, I want to say 2.8 million, something like that. 2.6. I'm not 100% certain. It's worth a good amount. So we're going to hit up Transit. We're going to head down to Emporium, and we're going to go talk to the black market, because so far as we can tell, we're getting about, 75% pricing on the items that we sell to the black market versus the license kiosk only deciding to give us about 50%. And then, of course, if you go to the scrap kiosk, you get about 10% or so. Yeah, this is how you can tell I haven't gone and I haven't done the big sale to clear everything up. Because I still have all of the files on my phone. And this was one of the last things that we did on stream last night to just clear up some space, clear up some of the bugs in the game. Try to make things run a little bit smoother, because, having a couple thousand line items loaded up whenever you open up a PDA turns out to really slow the game down and mess with your frame rate. Goodness, you should see how much the game hangs every time I open up my PDA to all this crap. It is not a pleasant sight. So we're gonna turn that down just a lot a bit, because I think that background music from the game is starting to overwhelm things a little bit. I noticed it peaking on the stream, so I do apologize for the viewers at home. Never my intention to ruin your viewing experience. But with that, we should be able to go and get most of the way to paying off Mr. Pope's remaining stuff. I mean, honestly, this is part of why I had the man gun and just stuffed in a barrel and tossed into space. Okay, so now we need to make up 121,000. Great. So back to port we go. Now in port we're actually gonna hit up the proper license salvage, and we're gonna go and we're gonna try and sell stuff there, because we have no choice but to sell stuff there. I mean, it's just... it's the only other place that'll accept everything we want to sell and give us the most money. So, we're gonna open up the zone one more time. And you know what, we can also, remove some of the stuff from our crates as well. Like the extra flooring. I know I have a spare PDA in here, or two that I don't need. I think that sneaker's a spare from somewhere. And we're gonna get rid of the emergency cables. We're gonna keep the anti-G-lock. That stuff is just damn useful. And I would never willingly get rid of that. Let's see. I have enough Webers, so that way I don't need soldering irons. But you know what? We're going to hold on to them still. We can sell off the tack knife. Let's go through. Because honestly, there's a lot. I don't remember exactly what I sold to make up the money that we were missing last time. But we are going to have to, you know, scrap out a lot of the stuff that we have on the ship, sadly. You know, no real good choice about it. I mean, you know, we could just ignore it and let the debt build forever and ever and ever, but I have a feeling at some point that is going to stack overflow the game, and that will cause this save file to end. And as much fun as that would be, I want to try and keep this around for as long as possible, because I enjoy this game. I like this save file. I've been having a grand old time on here. And we want to see the adventures of Captain Walsh, you know, continue for as long as possible. Let's see. Just keep searching through and through and through. So, I hate to sell off the signal boxes because I know I bought these. Yeah, we'll sell them all. It's fine. I can always buy more. Same with the thermostat and the power switches. We're going to sell off any extra alarms because we don't need any extra alarms. Drink pouches, we can sell those off. Everybody only needs one, if we're being honest. Let's see. I don't like smoking on my ship, so we sell off all the smokes. Check out the bottle of rice wine. It is rice wine. We don't like liquor on the ship because, well, alcoholics are alcoholics, and we don't want those on our ship. I think that one's fairly self-explanatory. Though admittedly, it is quite hilarious to go Shanghai an alcoholic who's passed out in OK Leg and then proceed to dump them in the middle of space. Kind of funny, if we're being honest. Always a good time. Let's see, I remember selling off most of the nitrogen, most of the conduit we had, all the cigarettes. We're going to sell off the splint. And we'll sell off that fire extinguisher too. And every single plastic toolbox that, you know, we can tell is empty. You know, we don't need empty toolboxes laying around. We can sell off a few of these screwdrivers as well. We're going to have to see about actually improving the amount of batteries and battery storage that we have for the GOT batteries and all that. Because once we have enough GOT batteries on board, that plus the power drill is going to make things just incredibly easy to rip apart and to repair, which means we should be able to get the maximum amount of profit out of everything that we get our hands on. Oh, you can actually see inside the locked smart crates? Cool. I'm going to sell that bulkhead bin, and I think I saw a locked crate back here. Oh, yeah, we want that. That's a green EVA suit. Nice. Admittedly, I'm a little bit of a collector. I like to collect things, so going and trying to grab as many different kinds of EVA suit as possible is a little bit of a side goal for me. I don't know how many colors there are in the game, but I'm fairly certain if I spent some time asking around the Discord or poking through the files, I could find out. But for now, we're going to finish off getting ourselves back to where we were last stream at the end, because apparently the save didn't take, which honestly is quite sad, but, you know, these things happen. Let's see, we don't need the floor cabling, we don't need this, we don't need that. I'm gonna sell off all our turbo pumps, which makes me sad. Those were a pain in the butt to get my hands on. We don't need knuckle dusters on the ship. Everyone has a handgun, or I should have enough handguns for everyone. Because, you know, that's how we roll on the Howling Cube. And yeah, sure, we'll take all the money from that. We don't need it. Can get rid of that. Gonna get rid of that. What's in this toolbox? Yeah, sure. Go ahead, get rid of it. Bada bing, bada boom, and what else we got? Drink pouch. Don't need it. Don't need it. Don't need it. Don't need it. We're going to start to sell off all the pressure suits as well. I don't believe in the things. We have enough EVA suits at this point that we should be able to outfit a, I want to say 6 or 7 person, including the captain crew, which is fantastic. You know, we have the opportunity to truly, you know, create our own little military out here. And sell off those. We can't get rid of the reactor parts just yet. We might have to sell those to the actual salvage terminal that only buys scrap parts, which is fine. You know, these things happen. But we're getting pretty close. I think we have another $60,000 to scrape together out of the ship of things I don't want to sell. Let's see, we definitely want to keep that textbook on construction engineering. We can make our crew read that, so that way they can actually learn and develop their skills a little bit, which should help us out in the future. And we can get rid of that PDA. We don't need that. Cigarettes, drink pouch, more cigarettes. 11 air pumps for $11,000. Sure, we'll do that. Smart crates, canisters, you name it, it's getting sold. We don't believe in melee in space. Keep people at an arm's length, because fixing people up is more expensive than shooting someone down. I don't care if it takes 20 rounds to kill someone. We are going to use 20 rounds to kill someone, so that way I don't have to pay the money for the actual medical bills. Because buying bullets is cheaper than affording medical bills in this game. There goes more RCS thrusters, which we could have used because our ship is once again still hilariously underpowered. I think the maximum amount of engines that you can slap on anything in-game is about 100 or something like that due to an internal hard limit. And unfortunately, we just don't have that many. We don't have enough space. You know, I want to say the ship is only 23 meters by... It's something like 20 by 23. So unless we slapped them on all sides of the ship, which technically you're supposed to, if you're building it like an actual ship is supposed to be built for realistic physics, which is coming in a future update, so, you know, eventually the cube with its 20 engines slotted on one corner that would just spin wildly out of control will not be viable, which is sad to say. There we go, another $6 grand out of the power conduits. More here, more there. Let's get rid of that. Oop. I have no clue what I just clicked there, but that's fine. We won't worry too much about it. I'm gonna sell off the blister kits, because if we pop a hole in the ship, we pop a hole in the ship, that's it, we die. You know, we're kind of a fuck it, we ball ship. Especially with the amount of crew that I've taken out so far and terminated for just sitting there doing nothing and soaking up oxygen when there is work to be done. Okay. So we'll sell all that off. And we're going to take a second. So we have 112,000. And we are still $30,000 shy. Damn it. Okay. Well, let's just get that paid off. And can we pay off either of these? No. So how much do we need? 30,217. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right, this fuel regulator. If we fix that up, that should be worth about $10,000, $11,000, which isn't bad. So we're just gonna have to go, we're gonna have to speed through fixing some stuff real quick and pray that it's enough. Not enough parts? Okay, fine. That means we're gonna have to come over here and look at our battery stash and see what we can dismantle. Now, do remember, whenever you're giving people orders to dismantle crap around sensitive equipment, to turn off the big three, that is walls, floor, and conduit, so that way you aren't just blasting holes in your ship and spacing yourself for no darn reason. So we'll stick Adam on an auto task. That should get him to, first off, just take care of himself, but also it should get him to get over here and start ripping stuff apart a bit faster. Because we need the electronic parts to fix up the actual things that'll sell for real money. The batteries aren't worth all that much. Same with these thrusters. I mean, what? I'm gonna spend the time to turn a thruster into a $2,000 piece of crud while, you know, I can make 12,000 off of a nav console? Or how much is a fuel regulator? Yeah, see, 13,000 for a fuel regulator. There's a good chance that we can sell that to the black market for a good amount of money. Speaking of Adam, where'd you go? Ah, there he is, fixing a capacitor. Let's see, how much is a capacitor worth? Not bad. See, we're going to get to that $30,000 we need to finish clearing everything out real fast. I have no clue how we got to where we were. Let's see, let's check his inventory, see how his tools are doing. Does he have anything on him that he's... Yeah, no, he's not supposed to have a screwdriver. The screwdriver slows things down. What else do you have on you, and where are you keeping it? Weird. Very weird indeed. because by all means, the only 3 tools that you need after a certain point is going to be the lance torch, or the lance laser torch, the got angle grinder, and a got power drill. That is it. You do not need a screwdriver. So there's a good chance all these screwdrivers are getting sold off of my ship as soon as possible. We just need to get these capacitors and everything else fixed up to as close to perfect as we can get. Because the more money we can make, the bigger safety net that we can create for ourselves. And if we can create a big enough safety net, then we can buy ourselves another 7-day pass on the 17th, I want to say, when our current 7-day pass expires. Hey J-Van, how you doing today? J-Van put in the chat, I noticed that my character will barely get rest from sleeping. I tried the console command, but it doesn't work. So I sleep 12 to 18 hours and then get hit with $10,000 fines with zero explanation. Now, if you're talking about while being docked, there are just, you know, Port K-Leg is Port K-Leg. They have... Well, let's ignore the public disorder fees. Yeah, you can see next shift, if we don't pay, we're gonna owe 41,000 instead of 30,000. So we gotta book it. You know, we have only a few hours left. So to explain, a good way to rest your character is to fly out into space, find yourself a nice derelict that is, you know, seemingly safe from collision. And I say seemingly safe because there is no such thing as safe from collision in space. That is an absolute lie. And what you're going to do once you've done that is you're going to sleep there and you're going to use the super fast forward function. Now, my guy has the drowsy debuff because he's been awake more than 24 hours. That is also a big lie. This bar right here, the closer it is to halfway, the longer it's going to take to sleep. This could take us a whole 3 different days to blast through. I'll show you what I mean once we get some of this stuff sold off. Because if we can get enough sold off fast enough, we don't have to worry about the fees and fines. If we don't have to worry about the fees and fines, then I'm fine with staying an extra 6 to 12 hours in OK. Like, you know, that's no big deal. Honestly, the best way to go about it, I want to say your pawn technically needs, well, I guess you could call it a pawn, but your guys and your gals, they need sleep on a daily basis, just like you. The best way to do it, in my opinion, is you go and you schedule them about 6 hours of sleep. Or every couple of hours of work, so, you know, every 3 or 4 hours, you let them take a nap for like 3 or 4 hours, something like that, or like 3 hours. So, you know, you kind of stagger their sleep patterns, so that way they're sometimes working, sometimes not working. Also, don't forget to give them free time, because, you know, they will get moody, and they will get upset, and then they'll start to cry, and then you'll have to deal with a moody crew who doesn't want to do anything but sit around and talk to people on the phone. Which is just fantastic, because they're wasting good, precious time and resources. As far as the console command not working, I got nothing for that. The best thing I can do is suggest that you look in the description of this and every other video for Ostranauts that I have posted on the channel. Head over to the Discord, and you can go and you can search in the bug section of the Discord. Almost every single thing that has happened in the game, I guarantee, has been logged in the bugs section. So you can find some stuff about, you know, sleep and stuff like that. You know, it's fun, fascinating stuff, just how much we've broken in the game and how much is still technically, you know, just janky in the game. You know, there's a lot of praise clang when it comes to this because it is an early access game. Not everything is completely bolted into place. I mean, even in this one, yeah, you can tell the game is not happy with me. Granted, most of my problems have to deal with stacking things that were not meant to be stacked on top of each other, and that is completely fixable. All we have to do is change the location of crap. Which, now that I realize I sold all my conduit, I realize I have no way to power and plug in the rest of my battery room. Damn it. Oh well, that's fine. We aren't going to sweat the big, or the small stuff too much. Goodness gracious, this game. It's a fun game. I love this game, I do. There's a lot of ins and outs and complex parts to it. Yeah, you see, I'm in a weird spot with the storage in this game. Like, I'm in the middle of having everything sorted out and organized properly, but I also have to sell everything that's on my ship for that to be viable for the future. But I have, you know, a lot of resources on the ship that I don't particularly want to get rid of. So, here, let's go to the roster menu, open up the zones, and everything is included. So I think the first step is going to be getting rid of all the damn screwdrivers on board. That is the first step. I'm done with my collection of screwdrivers. Then we're going to look at resources. We're going to start renaming crates. We're going to start cramming stuff into crates. You know, there's going to be a lot of just a lot of micromanaging right now. And it's kind of unfortunate the amount that we have to do to get things up off the ground, but you know, that's just what the game is. You know, there's a lot of, you have to sit, if you want something this big, if you want to have this much scrap on your ship. And we're out of electronic parts again. Okay. Okay. Take it apart. Oh yeah, honestly, renaming stuff to go and to organize your stuff on the ship, fantastic move. However, downside is you will run into the bug where if you rename a bag, like I have, to empty or EVA parts or oxygen tanks, it will pop up in the mega tooltip here. And yeah, that's just kind of a thing. You know, not much to say about it. Just kind of happens that way. Let's see what Pittman and Gross are up to. What are you restoring? He is fixing up the door. And she is fixing up the wiring, it looks like, for our engine bay. Legitimate, we have a lot on the ship that we need to fix. And a lot we need to just sell off and be done with. Like, I don't need all the extra navigation consoles. I just want them for the money. And we can't even fix them, so if we select the cancel, we hit this, and then we hit scrap. Always be careful, like I said, to have floor, conduit, and all that, you know, not selected. Now, the amount of conduits per thruster and the amount of intakes per thruster. So, yes, no, maybe so. I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna pull out the MS Paint for this one because I have a vague idea how it works. And I like having a nice big old canvas to work on. Alright, so quick we'll pick you know what, let's go with orange today. So we have our tank of nitrogen gas. So on top of that, we have our RCS thruster, which is going to be this little red cube. Yeah, I know, I have horrible handwriting. Sue me about it if you really so feel. So, the RCS intakes obviously go and allow our thruster to make thrust. So when you look at the game and there's that little slider bar that has, you know, the min and the max, the amount of intakes that you have only affects this as far as I can tell. It says you can take X% of the total nitrogen on board and convert that into thrust according to this. Vaguely, that is how I understand it. So, going back to the game, and we are not going to save any changes to that. There we go. And we're just going to pause real quick and get rid of Fog of War again because I absolutely hate the Fog of War. I have all of these thrusters because I have decided to build a big and unwieldy box. I love my big and unwieldy box. It is my pride and joy. I have worked very hard on it. I've worked very hard to make this happen. It has taken me, I want to say, a total of 129 hours or 130 hours of gameplay at this point to get where we are. Which, if you look at all the videos across the channel, it tells you exactly how much time I have edited out of just showing you guys the mundane, dull humdrum of this game. So we have, and you know what, we're going to send him back to the ship here for a second. If we plug into our nav station, we can actually see for RCS fuel, we have 7,000 kilograms, it looks like. So the thruster, as far as I can tell, and the amount of intakes we have, it's a percentage thing, you know. If I have 30 intakes, each giving 1% of whatever is available to them, instead of, you know, the 100% at max throttle, pumping out to 30 engines, I'm just going to be able to fill them with more fuel. More fuel means more thrust. Vaguely something like that. I'm not 100% certain. You know, it's a bit weird. People have tried in the Discord to try and figure out ratios for stuff, and I think someone did at some point. But I also think it just doesn't work that way. The one thing I can say is the more thrusters you have, or the more intakes you have, the bigger your gas tank. The bigger your gas tank, usually the bigger your ship. The bigger your ship, the more thrusters you're going to need, which means you're going to need more gas to go to make the ship go. So, it's kind of a self-defeating Ouroboros of you need the thrusters need the fuel, you need space for the fuel and for the thrusters, so the more space you have, the more thrusters and fuel you need, and it just kind of keeps on going. But It gets worse than that. It gets so much worse than that. So if we open up the Visor app, we can go and we can look at the mass of everything on the ship. And looking at the mass of everything on the ship, we can see, oh, certain things like this big old helium tank. That thing is heavy as fuck. The navigation stations, those are heavy as fuck. Our reactor is heavy as shit. I don't know why I have so many nav stations. We got to get those sold off. So I don't think we're going to fix those. I think those are going straight to the scrap heap. You know, it's time. It's time to let go. And it's time to say goodbye to a lot of the crap that we have on this ship. Mr. Walsh, hit up the scrap station. We have a lot to sell. And this, I'm not going to lie, this one breaks my heart. I hate using the scrap station now that I've kind of figured out vaguely where to get the best prices at, but there are certain things I just don't have the time and money right now to be repairing in-game, so this is where they go. Now, granted, I don't know what the appropriate anything is for... Oh, we have another cargo pod somewhere on the ship, apparently. We haven't sold that yet. That should get us pretty close. That and the rest of this crap that I'm selling off, that's just not worth keeping. The game does have its own internal way to tell you, though, how much your ship is, or how good your ship's maneuverability is. So every time you build out your ship, I would recommend, and we're going to go over that again here in a second, so let me see. Yeah, we want to keep that for now. Sell off all the trash. We don't need trash on the ship. Okay, cool. Look at that. Another $5,000 towards the $1 million in debt that we've just been suffering through. Give me a second. Mr. Gross. Alright, fog of war off. Let's find this shit. Where are you? Where are you? And I would sing the rest of that song, but I do not wish to get my channel clapped by the copyright demon. So that is as much of that delightful song by Blink-182 that we will ever hear. Now, hot swapping nitrogen tanks, that is a fantastic way to go early game. It makes for just easy transport and easy moving around. I'm a little bit too lazy for that at this stage of the game, and just in general, I don't want to do that. Oh, you see, I'm so used to going to Emporium to sell crap. I hit the wrong button. So no, back into the transit. We're heading over to commercial of all places. And we're going to take a look over here, and I'm going to show you a few things that, you know, I've found and I've discovered that are just interesting. So we got someone selling burgers over here, or, you know, just trenchers. We have our classic medical services, selling everything from Ossifex all the way down to splints and pills. And there we go. See, that is what I'm talking about. The empty bag bug. It's fantastic, isn't it? We can check out medical services, and we can see that, oh yeah, no. $250,000 to get a scar or chronic ailment removed. For nanorobotic first aid, $2,500. That's not bad. So we'll just, you know, exit out real quick, and we'll head over to the shipbroker. And we're going to do this one more time. Yeah, I don't know why this happens. The devs are looking into it, or they've looked into it, and they're going to fix it, assumingly, in one of the next updates at some point. Granted, I have disabled the updates for my game out of fear for it bricking my game. So every update for Ostranauts from here on out, at least up until the 14.5 release, is going to be, very tentative. Because I think I've now gone through 4 different Axis builds, and we're kind of concerned that, or at least I'm kind of concerned that this game might end up crashing the save file. Which is fine, we just start off with a new captain, but I've grown pretty attached to the Howling Leaf and Mr. Walsh and his crew so far. So, the ship rating, A13E Ultra Large. So, as you can see, it goes and it bases this off of condition, which is A, the best, to E, the worst. We have a really good condition ship. We have 13 specialized rooms. We have the worst maneuverability at E. This is where your thrusters come into play. If you go and you look at the... And I'm clicking buttons I'm not supposed to again. There we go. If we click over here, and we look at something like this freighter. If we were to go and, purchase this freighter, I guarantee you it would have either a C or a B for the maneuverability. This salvage tug, definitely an A. Because it's the size of your ship, it's the weight of all the stuff on your ship. So if you have, a big freighter, like this survey ship right here, which is... And this is actually a kind of cool thing that you can see at the shipbroker. I totally recommend you do this, so that way you can decide, hey, maybe once I build up a big enough ship, we're going to sell it off. So this ship, you can already tell, based off of the stuff on my ship, we had, helium tanks and deuterium tanks. Those are going to be pretty heavy. This reactor is going to be pretty heavy. These cargo pods, those are probably going to be pretty heavy too. So this is probably going to have, due to its size and weight, cryo tank there, 2 nav consoles. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. None over here. 5, 6. Probably 7, 8. So probably 10 thrusters on this ship as a whole. So this one's probably going to be in the same class as us as far as maneuverability goes, somewhere around D or E. Legitimately, the only way to go to fix your maneuverability and all that is to slap more thrusters on, but that's the usual Ouroboros loop of you're adding more weight to your ship, you're making your ship bigger, so it's not going to be as aerodynamic, yada yada, so forth. Now, I will say, of all the things I do know about the future exploits in the game and where we will end up by the time this save file ends, is Venus. Venus is a whole different beast. Venus is a whole different world. Everything that you learn in the OK Lake system about taking ships apart, about all the Eldritch Horror, about learning how to run gigs and stuff like that, pretty much doesn't matter by the time you get to Venus, because Venus has actual atmosphere, and that requires a whole new selection of ship parts and stuff like that. So, legitimately your best bet for that is to go and save up some money and buy a whole new ship. Because by the time you get out to Venus, you're probably just going to need, a specific atmospheric-based ship. Which, if we come over here, because I'm fairly certain they should be done by now. Take the shortcut way through. No, we don't want the cooler. Can we repair that? Sure. Why not? they should be getting pretty close to having that, cargo container pretty close to darn fixed up. So here we go, we can select that cargo pod. Okay, so they're about halfway done. Once it hits about 20,000, this specialized or specialty cargo pod actually is worth about $27,000 for sale back to the cargo pod manager. Granted, we can't what's it called? I'm trying to think here. We could just sell it. We could also strap it to the ship. We could load it up with some trade goods, and we could sell those instead. So there's a lot of different ways for things to go. You know, there's a lot to think about with this game. You know, it's a very long game to play. It's a very slow game, you know. It's not something where you can just sit down. Well, I mean, you can sit down and just crack the thing out in a few hours if you really just want to, but that's not how I enjoy playing, you know. I like the long time. I like to spend a long time actually enjoying things. I mean, I spent $20 on this game. I'm gonna get, you know, my $20 of enjoyment out of it. I'm probably going to sink 1,000 hours into this because I just love it. There's something about space that's fun. It's enjoyable. It's got everything I want in a space game so far. Okay, so we need electronics for that. You're bad, you're bad, you're bad. We can sell you. Cargo pod's almost there, so we'll hop in and fix that up as well, which should massively boost the speed. As you can see, Pittman and Gross, they are grossly unprepared for repairing things. They kind of suck, I'm not gonna lie. And then the reactor, that is a whole nother beast. So we have our fuel regulator, which feeds a set of pellet feeders. So we got 2 pellet feeders on there. I don't know if they're going to have solid fuel at some point in the game that we're going to have to buy as well. We'll deal with that when they add it, or if they add it. You have the 2 laser arrays, which are fed by the laser capacitor. Then we have the core pump. This allows us to create a vacuum inside the reactor core, as well as the field coil fusion assembly. We need this entire 4-piece fusion assembly to protect ourselves from the radiation this thing spits off. We have the MHD. This is what allows us to either choose between charging our batteries on the ship and generating a metric fuckload of thrust. And then, of course, we have our cryo tank and regulator, because if you don't keep a fusion explosion cold, or cold enough, I mean, it goes critical. And then you have a, give or take, about this sized hole in your ship. If you guys want, we can see about saving and, you know, alternate timeline blowing it up live on stream for you, you know, just for shits and giggles. Alright, and we're going to put these 2 to auto task. And we can pick this up, and we can start selling more crap. My biggest concern is just getting enough money to be able to pay for, you know, fuel and the other crap that we need right now. That and just clearing out this debt, it has to go. So there we go. Finally, the $1 million that Alvin, Andrew, and Pittman, and the other guy whose name I forget at this point, ripped out of my pockets is finally all paid off. Note to everyone out there one more time, especially for everyone joining today who hasn't seen the last few streams. If you hire crew, please, for the love of God, make sure you have enough money to pay off their death pay before you go out, or make sure that you can make it all in a single shift. Because if you do not pay off that death pay, you will end up paying out the ass like I did on late fees. I ended up paying... No, fuck you. I just fixed those up. They're worth $12,000 a piece. You are not making me get only $6 grand. You see, this is why I sell to the black market. I can at least get 9 or 10 grand out of him. 75%. It's pretty good. We'll take it. So we're talking to Mr. Bullock, who admittedly every time... No, empty bag, I do not want to talk to you. Go away. He makes me think of the, oh, what's it called? The CIA chief from American Dad every time I say his name. So it's, you know, a little bit of a giggle for me. But I wanted to sell these off and this reactor part, because if we have enough money, we can actually afford another week-long visa for space, pretty much. And we need that right now, you know. We need to make sure that we have that money. For now, I'm going to install those helium and, I could probably sell off the deuterium tank if I'm honest. Oh, he doesn't want the fusion grade laser capacitor today. When does he refresh? In about an hour or so. Alright, we'll come back then. He might want it then. You know, I am determined to get the best price for everything. Oh, here's a fun thing. If your intimacy gets low enough, you will have your character just draw dongs and stuff on everything. So, you know, kind of a funny little Easter egg, I guess, or hilarious tidbit from the game. Take care of your character, or your entire ship will technically be graffitied, which is kind of funny. Oh no. You see, this is the downside of these super long saves, you know. The game starts to hang itself a little bit. It's not great. Oh, and we're getting the blue ring of death. And that would be why. Clobbered by a memory of a love now lost. Yeah, the love is not lost. He is sitting on my ship right now. His name is Andrew Grossman, and he is my ex-boyfriend. Thank you very much, and have a nice day. Goodness, goodness, goodness. So, no matter what, we're gonna have to deal with that bug. So we are just going to start naming things as it goes, just to try and organize out the ship, because it's high past time we did this. And we aren't going to waste too much time doing the inventory of everything, because it's just going to be emptying things out, labeling them empty. And after doing that, we're going to sell off or scrap or destroy every single thing on board, so that way we have a perfectly clean ship for the next, you know, couple of runs out. Because it's time. This ship needs a once-over, and it's time to clean our room, you know? Let's see, we'll take this battery, and we will install that. You know what, we'll just pick it up, and we'll come over here. We can open up our inventory. Move that there. Perfect. Now we can install this right there. Because, you know, I'm serious when I say I want at least 2 rows of batteries installed on this ship. That is going to be a minimum for me to sell this thing, is getting at least half of the projects I have on this ship actually done. Because, you know, as much as I love this ship... Oop, no, that is the wrong button. Come on. I do kind of want to get to Venus and do the whole Venus thing and see what's going on out there. I also do want to run into whatever mystery experiences are out there, because I know we haven't so far. I think I have triggered the start of a quest, but I also just think that we've kind of run into the lucky side of RNG where none of it's popping up, you know? Or unlucky side, depending upon your point of view. Okay, so this does contain helium, so we are going to install that. Where can I install this? We're gonna go in that corner, so we'll pick up and we'll come down here. And we'll open up our inventory so we can pick this up and move you out of the way. Now, you can put your helium tanks and everything kind of wherever you want on the ship. I'm just putting them wherever it allows me at this point. Let's see. We'll get rid of the fog war again, because once again, I understand the mechanic. I understand why they have the mechanic. I personally just don't like playing with it. Yeah, I'll go something like that. So, vaguely the way I understand it, once you have a reactor set up with your deuterium and your helium, or hydrogen, or... Is it helium? Yeah, it is helium. Helium-3. One tank of deuterium supports up to 12 or 13, I want to say, tanks of helium. Something like that. Like, you do get a ridiculous amount of, I guess I want to just say space off of one tank. Okay. And let's open up this crate. And okay, so that is food of which we're going to eat the pizza pouch. Now, there is at least, we'll call it one storyline that is related to the food. That's all I'm going to say about that, and we're not going to spoil it. But it does turn out that the technical quest lines in this that are available are both linked together somehow. I don't know the particulars. I don't understand the particulars. Not my circus, not my monkeys, you know? Let's see, we'll open up the fridge and we will stock the fridge. And now we can name this crate empty, just like everything else. More trenchers, another handgun. And I don't want any of these plastic toolboxes on my ship anymore, so all of those are getting sold off. We can keep this one for now. And we'll keep this one as well, but we're going to turn this one into aluminum, I guess. If I could freaking spell today. Sure, I think that's how aluminum spelled. I could not care less. Honestly, I really genuinely do not care. Alright, let's get this Hydra installed. Technically, we could sell this off for an extra 30 grand. But I kind of want to save that as an emergency fund for money, you know? To be fair, I feel like that's a lot of what this game is. It's just running around, picking up and installing the crap you want on a ship, and selling off everything that you don't want. And I'm okay with that. I like that. I think that's why I'm into this game as much as I am. It's pick up, haul, and scrap simulator, you know? It's go out, do what you want, kind of roleplay your own thing, and do your own thing. And for me right now, that just happens to be running through space, causing mischief. And definitely, you know, fucking up the day of whatever poor sod happens to get on my bad side. Oh, look, this is the EVA suit that I've been looking for. So if we throw that on the ground, our pawns and stooges should start to repair it. Let's see, throw out the handguns, throw out the clothes. You know what, we'll turn this one into clothing. I mean, you would not believe how much time I have put into this game. I mean, the amount of times I have played until 2 in the morning with this game is more than I am comfortable with. At the same time, I'm also very comfortable with because I absolutely love it. You know, this is something I'm passionate about. It's something I very much enjoy. And, you know, I hope that, and this is not just, you know, oh, hey, I'm saying it on the live stream just to say it, so that way, you know, I can fill space and fill time. Because admittedly, that's half of why I talk on the live stream, is just to fill space and time. I genuinely hope everyone can just find something out there that they enjoy half as much as I enjoy this game. Because I know how much I enjoy, you know, running around in the silly space simulator, doing silly things in space. And it's just, I don't know, I hope that everyone finds something like this in their life, because it's fun, it's enjoyable, it's interesting. It gives me something to do, it keeps me busy, you know? Granted, you know, eventually there will be a significant other, hopefully in my future, and they will probably, very sadly, take up the space that this game once filled for time, and that's okay, because, you know, that's just the way life works. Gonna call that one screens. Or screen.s, fine, you know, whatever. There we go, we'll put mech parts in this. You know, this is also another kind of fun part of the game to me, is just being able to gather things and sort them out, you know, to appease a little bit that inner OCD everyone has of, let's tidy up the mess, you know. It's fun. Because it just, I don't know, look at it. It looks so much better now without half this crap just flooding the entire ship. And once it's fully set up, oh my goodness, it's going to look so great. But for now, I'm going to go and I'm going to take a little bit of break to stretch my legs, drink some water, and kind of defuzz my brain, because I have been working since this past Monday. I still have one more day of my work week to go, and then Tuesday we are going to do a big mega stream that I announced yesterday during yesterday's live stream. I'm thinking like 6 to 8 hours of Ostranauts. I mean, I've got nothing better to do with my weekend. This is all I do outside of work, so, you know, it's either record it and cut it apart for footage, or throw up a live stream to hang out with people. And frankly, I'd rather be here hanging out with you guys than sitting and recording by myself. So, for now, we are going to take a short break, and I'm going to throw on some good old background music from our library. Hopefully it won't be too loud for you guys. If it is, let me know, drop a message in the chat, and I will try to get that fixed up as soon as possible. We are still having a little bit of technical difficulties with the stream. Alrighty. So we will cut the music there, and let's pull back up the stream. And hey, now we are back. So, let's see. I mean, honestly, J-Van, I do enjoy a little bit of the miniature game myself. I don't do it too much. Honestly, I haven't done it in years. I don't know, it's a little bit too costly for my blood right now. I mean, flat out, I got $5 left in my bank account till Friday. So, things are rough out here for Oz, and we are trying, but, we make do. That's why there's kind of a little bit of a hope. And I did talk about this a little bit last stream, that eventually, maybe, just maybe, I'll be able to turn this into a supplementary form of income. That's kind of the goal, is to, see if I can't turn a hobby into a way to make a few extra dollars from the great advertisers in the sky. Because anything worth doing on a platform like this, I mean, you might as well just make a few extra dollars on it. So that way, I can do the things I really want to do. Like, if you really want to know what kind of hobbies good old Oz likes, Oz's favorite hobbies are cooking. I love to cook. I love to eat. Food is a passion of mine. And I happen to be a particularly good cook. Eventually, I would love to see about figuring out how to hook up my GoPro or whatever I have to my computer for a live stream, and I would love to go live in the kitchen for you guys. And when we do that, we're gonna make some of my famous orange cookies, which unfortunately, with some of the recent world events, might end up becoming incredibly expensive to make, which is, disheartening to me. Because if you aren't aware, here in America, we have a little bit of a competition going on with the rest of the world, apparently, where some people out there just like to pick fights with us, and it just happens, man. But unfortunately, one of the things that's happened kind of as a crossfire effect in that fight is some dickhead, I don't know who, I don't know where, but if I ever figure out who, my god, if I can plant my foot up their ass, I swear by everything holy I will. Some dickhead out there decided to go and release a fungus, or maybe it just came out of nowhere, in America, and it is sweeping through our orange groves, and it is completely ruining the oranges that are growing. Let's see. I can't seem to find any of the articles about it, and I saw it a long while ago, so I don't know if it's currently happening, but, I have noticed a little bit of a spike in the price of oranges whenever I go to the store. Same for orange juice. Granted, I'm not buying orange juice and oranges all that often. Yeah, if we want to talk about other fruits that's in trouble, first we got to take a trip back to the 1960s. There is a type of banana called the Gros Michel, and we're just going to kind of burn time on the game for a little bit. The Gros Michel banana is where we get the original artificial banana flavoring coming from. it is based off of that flavor and that particular banana's flavor profile. I've actually managed to have them. There are very few select groves here in America that actually grow them. Essentially what happened is there is a fungus out there, and that fungus is almost perfectly suited to kill off the Gros Michel banana. And unfortunately, due to the lack of biodiversity that we had with our banana plantations over here, because we just love the fruit so much. What are you doing? Watching drama? Okay. Is it his time to relax? No, it's not. Let's see. Is there anything I can have him repairing? Yeah, we'll have him start to repair some of this stuff. You know, we'll throw down some random repair orders on some of this crap and just see what happens. We'll get our smart crates fixed up so that way our storage isn't falling apart. But the Gros Michel banana, the reason why it died was because of that fungus. Now, you can still get it. It costs an arm and a leg. You see, I don't know about any of the other fruits that are actually in danger, so if you know something about that, you know, feel free to message about it in chat. I would love to hear more. I would love to be able to share that news with everyone else and just talk about it, because, you know, it's kind of fascinating to think that there's stuff out there in the world that, you know, eventually we might have the last of. You know, it might be the last banana, the last Cavendish, to name a few things. The last, you know, navel orange. The last XYZ. It's weird to think about that, you know, we are in such a weird... Okay, I guess we can't repair those directly. We'll have to figure that out. It's just weird to think that we're in such a state, you know, where these things happen, where you just have to worry that eventually fruits might disappear completely off the face of the planet because someone has gone and someone has decided to poison them, or some bug or virus has decided to come across and completely just wipe a species out. Anyways, to finish up the thought from earlier, the Cavendish banana is what we chose to replace the Gros Michel, as it was one of the few bananas that was, well, not one of the few, but one of the best tasting ones that was repellent to said virus or fungus, whatever it was. And that's what we've pretty much kind of been dining on for the past majority of my life. You know, past 30 to 40, 50 years, something like that. You know, it's what my parents grew up on. However, the Cavendish banana is now also starting to get a very similar, what's called fungus affecting it as well, which is very concerning. That eventually the, you know, dominant banana species on the planet might actually get fully wiped out again for a second time. Kind of weird that it's happening twice in a row. And I mean, yeah, you know, the changing climate is a factor. I mean, there's not much that you can do to stop the world from being changed. You know, humanity will ever push forward. We will always go. We will always develop the world, because that's just kind of how things go. We cannot put the genie back in the bottle that is industrialization and technology. You know, people are too used to having their iPhones and their game stations and their fast cars, makeups and fuels and this, that, and 10 different other things, you know. The only way to truly save the world and to turn back the clock, so to speak, which is impossible, let's be honest, would be to irreversibly, in my opinion, destroy parts of human society. And, you know, as good and altruistic as it would be to go and to turn back the clock and save the trees, save everything, look, let's be honest, nobody wants to give up the creature comforts they have to go to change the world. And the people who are giving up the creature comforts they have to change the world are not doing enough, because they are at the very, very, very bottom of the scale causing the problem. If you want to talk about the real people causing the problem, let's talk about India. Let's talk about China. Let's talk about Taylor Swift. Let's talk about every politician flying a jet everywhere. Let's talk about the WEF. Let's talk about the Davos Summit. Let's talk about the United Nations. Like, legitimately, there is a couple dozen or more just groups of people who have more than everybody else. And they are somewhere near the top of the food chain that is society in the world. And I hate to break it to everyone, I genuinely do. They are the people destroying the world, and it is not your fault, and it is not my fault. I have not gone and I have not polluted the earth with, you know, dangerous chemicals. I have not gone and polluted the earth with going and, you know, flying a jet all the way around the earth and all across America for a stupid Eras tour, Miss Swift. I mean, seriously, if you look up online and you see the flight pattern for some of the crap that she has done, dear sweet Lord, what the hell? Just, that's the entire thought right there. It's just a big, massive what the hell. You know what? We're going to sell the deuterium. I don't want to, I'd rather not, but I need to save on the space, and I need to save on weight right now. And I'd rather have the money. Besides, if we get enough money, we can buy more tools. If we can buy more tools, we can successfully have more crew on board, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for more crew right now. Which means we're also going to have to pay off their death benefits and abuse them into, pretty much accepting a death sentence to be on the ship. Which, either way, is an honest reality of what you're getting if you agree to work on my ship, because if you laze about, I'ma shoot ya. You're gonna get fired, I'm gonna take my money back, then you're gonna get taken out back and given the old Yeller treatment. You know, it's just the way it goes. Don't take up my oxygen, you jerk. But I don't know. It's a very complicated thing to sit here and to think about and to talk about, because yes, there are some pollinator species that have suffered, but there's also a lot of pollinator species that are now thriving. Look at bees. Like 8, 9 years ago, 10 years ago, we thought bees were going to go extinct. Now it's completely turned itself around, I want to say they're actually thriving particularly well, from what I remember. Oh. The game is angry. We might have to reboot the game here in a moment. Depends upon whether or not it decides to behave. But ultimately, I mean, I don't know. Climate change is one of those weird things to sit and to talk about and to really think about, you know? Because on one hand, You know, for years they said, oh yeah, cows are contributing so much to climate change and you should not eat beef, yada yada. Hey, you know, that's okay, J-Van. You know, I appreciate you being here, appreciate you chatting, and I totally understand, you know. Everyone has their own life going on outside of my streams, and I'm just here to be a clown for you guys. But to finish that thought real quick, I mean, it just came out recently, though, that turns out, no, cows are not bad for the environment. Turns out they're actually particularly good for the environment. They do a lot for the carbon exchange cycle. Which is amazing. You know, lovely stuff to hear. And it looks like the game did crash. Okay, so we are going to go and we're going to close that out and we will be right back. But yeah, no, just to finish up the thought while the music plays and I get this running again. A lot of the stuff that's been going on and touted as truth for the climate and the climate change and everything going on, don't believe everything that you've been hearing over the past few decades. I mean, people have been screaming for like 40 years now that within 10 years the global ice caps will have melted. It is now like 40 years since the first time that popped up and the ice caps are still bloody there. So, that means that there's just not enough data going on. We aren't collecting enough data about the right kinds of climate change. You look at the temperature numbers from England over the past few decades, because this is kind of a hilarious one. There'll be like 24 degrees centigrade every single year, and it's just, you know, in some years it's a green screen behind it, so you know it looks like a normal temperature. But now recently, on the past few years, they swapped it to a red screen behind it, so now it looks scary. You know, very weird and silly things are happening with the media and how they are influencing our perception of things. And I think, you know, not to get too crazy with it, but I think that worldwide we need to have some kind of truth and honesty in reporting just past. You know, if you are out there, if you are reporting on something, you need to be honest, you need to tell the truth. No more fear-mongering, no more, you know, lying out your butt just to create views and sensationalize everything. Because doing that has honestly just ruined polite society, and I'm tired of not having a polite society in this world. We need to be able to sit down, talk, and hang out, and, you know, kumbaya, you know? Everybody chill. Anyways, let's get this game back running. Try to figure out exactly how much time that we lost. So, current time is 5:56. Last save was about 6-7 minutes ago. That's not too bad. Probably means all of the empty crates that I named got undone. That's probably what caused the crashing. So we might have to see about destroying those crates and bags and redoing our organization system, which absolutely sucks. And here we are. Should be popping up shortly. Yeah, we're a while back. You know what, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not mad. Well, actually, you know what? I might be mad. No, I am not mad. We paid off all the late fees, so that is perfectly. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. Instead of actually sitting here and taking forever to repair everything, you know what? We're just gonna head over to the scrap kiosk. We're gonna sell it all off. I'm done. We're just gonna take what money we. Whoop. That'll be fine. It was a fork. Don't worry about it. I'm just gonna take what money I can get from crap, and we're just gonna see about getting out there, because I've been sitting around for almost 2 days now. I want to say it's been a probably total of like 8 hours of sitting. Real life hours of sitting here at port. And I start to get twitchy after a certain amount of time. I want to get out there. I want to make sure that the license that we have is actually getting used. So let's see. We're going to sell anything that is low repair. And we can start to sell off some of the smart crates as well. And of course, we don't want any of the plastic boxes, because I hate those. They suck. They don't have any space at all. It's not worth it. Don't ever get them. Don't ever use them. Not unless you absolutely have to. If you can get the red Halverson, get the red Halverson. It is so much more worth it. It has plenty of space. Though there is a downside to the Halverson. Fully loaded up with the good amount of tools, they do weigh about 10 kilograms or so. So if you try to pull off some bullshit with nesting 3 Halversons inside of a smart crate, it ends up weighing something along the lines of 30 kilos or more, which can really slow your guy down and overload them. They tend to get a little bit unhappy about carrying too heavy loads, you know. Let's see. We're probably going to just end up leaving most of the clothes on the ship when it comes down to it in the future. When we finally do sell this stupid thing off. Oh, yeah, that's right. Every single screwdriver on the ship must go. I'm done having screwdrivers on my ship. I mean, it's probably a bad idea to sell all of them, but I'm probably going to try and sell the majority of them. Because I hate that my crew uses them. I would rather have them sit around with their thumbs up their butts than have them use them at this point. And for now, we'll keep all the stir welders. I'm not a big fan of those anymore now that I have the nice, fancy welders. I forget what they're called exactly. Okay, cool. So that's another 2 grand there. Some problems solved. Less stuff for us to sort through. Fantastic. We'll take it. Hit up the licensed trade. Well, no. We'll just head straight to the black market. We're going to sell all that rest of the crap off. Oh, hello. Unity engine setup coroutine, enumerator, return to IP value. Uh-oh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe we have, I do believe we have found a new bug. So, we're gonna pause just for a second, and we are going to take a screenshot, and I'm gonna post this straight into the Discord, because I think they will find this hilarious. So let's take this, we'll hit copy, head over to the Discord. And let's get one of the event log as well. Let's see. Whoop. Oh, come on. There's the delay, there's this, there's that. There we go. And we're going to tag my favorite buddy, Eric, because we love Eric. He is a great part of the community. If you're part of the Blue Bottle community, you'll know who I'm talking about. He is a very, very delightful guy. He helps out a lot with just, you know, maintaining knowledge throughout the community and making sure people know and understand what's going on with shit whenever it breaks. Oh, goodness. What have I done this time? You know what? We're gonna just try to go back to port and see if that fixes. Okay, so that fixes some things. Does the old turn it off and turn it back on again work? No, it does not. How in the hell have I done this? I'm impressed. Frankly, I am very impressed. Wow, this is bad. So everything still works. All the layers aren't technically here. I have definitely pissed off the machine spirit, though. Cool. So, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna trade with Gabriel real quick. And then we're gonna exit out of the game and try reloading. Because if there's one thing that I've found, the usual, suggestion from the Discord is to go do a proper full exit of your game. Oh yeah, we can't even select our zone for the ship, so just to make sure we are safe. we're going to head back to port. I'll turn on the background music again. So that way I can hide my government name and personal details from y'all one more time, just for posterity. And we're gonna pop down a save and try just restarting the game. Please pause. Please pause. Don't do me like this, please. Don't kill my 120 hours save with no mercy. Uh-oh. So aside from the fact that I don't know how to get to the proper menu now, oh, yeah, so about that stream that was supposed to go on for a few hours today. I think we might actually have to call an end to it, and we're gonna just have to see if I can save the game or not. If I can, we'll have the stream on Tuesday. If not, we're still gonna have the stream. It's just going to be, you know, a little bit of a requiem for Captain Walsh and a little bit of a fond farewell to this save file, and we might be starting up a brand new save. Yeah. So for now, I'd like to say thank you for watching. If we can figure this out, definitely a stream on Tuesday, the 19th. Keep an eye out tomorrow, the 18th. We'll see a post on the channel, give or take, by, you know, the usual time of 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, Eastern Daylight Time, with what's going on and when the stream should be, because, you know, give or take, I should be on my weekend by then, and I should be planning to figure out what I'm gonna do, when I'm gonna do it. It also depends, you know, maybe we aren't feeling Ostranauts tomorrow, maybe we do something else. I'm not 100% certain yet. We will see what happens then. Who knows, maybe we'll hop on the Wheel of Names and spin up something random instead. Until then, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Or Tuesday. Goodness, I gotta get some sleep.